On a warm summer night, the sounds of jazz flow from a converted church that is the headquarters of the nonprofit New Community Corporation. Around the corner from St. Joseph's, the riffs from Lonnie Youngblood's saxophone play over the New Community Neighborhood Shopping Center. And Babyland 3, one of 7 Babylands, whose comprehensive approach to daycare has made them a national model of success. And up Orange Avenue to Harmony House, where Charita Wimberly, a teenage homeless mother, reads a bedtime story to her son. For 30 years, a quiet revolution has taken place in the inner city central ward of Newark, New Jersey. Piece by piece and brick by brick, a group of neighborhood residents has brought profound and permanent change to their community. New Community Board President Arthur Wilson uses his vantage point from on top of New Community's extended care facility to show what's been accomplished.
From here we can see the Pathmark Shopping Center. It is New Community Neighborhood Shopping Center, which Pathmark is the anchor tenant. There is the Estates, a project we started some years ago for families. And there, New Community Gardens. This building is both seniors and handicapped. This empty lot is in front of us here. This is the site for our newest development. Our one-stop workforce development center. This center will move 1,000 welfare recipients each year into gainful employment. And it is a result of our partnership with the Victoria Foundation and the Ford Foundation. To me, this building is our greatest project for investing in people.
The New Community Corporation is only one of some 2,000 community development programs across the nation. But I don't think you'll find a better one. Just look what's been done. Today, clean, affordable housing provides a safe environment for raising families. Economic development has meant jobs, jobs in and for the community, with most of the money staying right here in the community where it can do the most good. The New Community Corporation has become a $200 million a year enterprise, with over 1,750 employees and assets over $300 million. No wonder people are impressed. I know I am. What makes the story in Newark so remarkable is the way it started. At the dedication of the Neighborhood Recreation Center, Monsignor William Linder, the founder of New Community, recalled the beginnings.
It was on the site of this building 34 winters ago, actually. As a young priest, I witnessed the death of an infant who died in a cold water flat and died in a crib where the mother took a screen she found and covered it at night because she was afraid that rats would get to her infant. That child died of pneumonia. It was on that day when I held the body that I made a commitment to heal.
Just right in front of there. Okay, don't go past that line, all right?
I'll go in front of this white building.
At the crack of dawn on a sub-zero morning, the pioneers of New Community returned to a place that had a special meaning for them.
This is sort of a historical day because this is the day that they're going to be demolishing Hayes Home. This is the place where the riot started in 1967.
Gail Cheneyfield, now a Newark City Councilwoman, was a 7-year-old living in Hayes Homes in 1967.
3, 2, 1, history!
I started crying because I thought about my mother. Woo. I started thinking about my mother right now. And I remember when the riots first started, when I saw that building go down, I just thought of my mother. But it was so funny because I'm looking at her twin sister right here, and when I saw her, yeah. When I saw my aunt, it got kind of emotional for me.
In July of 1967, the tensions in Newark reached a flashpoint. Beginning at the 4th Precinct across from Hayes Homes, the Central Ward virtually exploded. Local and state police were overwhelmed by it all. The governor called in the National Guard. It was literally devastating.
I was an undercover operative. It was my responsibility to go into the community and to gather information. I saw people killed. I saw people murdered. I saw buildings burn. I saw children cry. I saw human beings shot. It was the most devastating thing I've ever seen in my life.
There was a tremendous sense of power during the summer disorders, of community power, which really had to be turned to a positive force.
The question was how to turn it into a positive force. They started modestly in the basement of Queen of Angels Church. Mary Smith, Father William Linder, Joe Cheney Field, and a group of community residents decided to focus on housing, since the lack of affordable housing had been identified as an underlying source of resentment. Affluent suburban neighbors helped. The JCs raised more than $100,000 to buy land. In May of 1969, the New Community Foundation was formed and became the fundraising arm of the fledgling group. Foundation members also cultivated the support of those who would help them, when the time came, to secure mortgages. From the beginning, the residents were involved in the planning of the buildings, something unheard of at the time. That involvement has continued to this day, most recently in the construction of the Neighborhood Recreation Center.
Okay, what type of glass are you using for the facility?
The glazing throughout the entire facility is made of what's called polycarbonate glass. Polycarbonate is an unbreakable material. Lexan is one of the trade names.
Is it bulletproof?
Is it bulletproof? No. It's relatively inexpensive. Yes?
Mister, how you going to get the machines out?
How am I going to get which machine out? That machine out? Oh, we're going to have to cut a hole in the roof. No, we're going to drive it right out that way. That's why we left a section of wall out. That's a very good question, because my guys constantly get machines in, they can't get out.
While New Community was struggling to build its first housing, Mary Smith was also tackling the problem of daycare.
It started with a $1,000 loan. $1,000 loan and a dream and a commitment and dedication. And with that $1,000, we were able to start Babyland.
Operation Housewives opened a thrift shop run by Newark women and stocked by suburban women to raise funds for Babyland. Paul Carney, a pediatrician from a wealthy suburban town, came to the new center to look after the children's health care needs. The residents worked endlessly.
And I remember when we built Babyland too. We had that medical building, and we were able to get it. But what happened, we had a few weeks to turn it into a daycare center.
And we had to knock all those walls down. And we would knock the walls down during the day. And then Monsignor and Joe Cheney Field and them would come up in the evening time and do the carpenter work.
Today, Babyland has 7 daycare centers, including the first center in the private sector, where Blue Cross employees now enjoy the same quality daycare that Central Ward residents have had since 1969. New Community persevered in its dream to bring safe, affordable housing to the Central Ward of Newark.
Well, much of it political fight. I have to fight every step of the way, really, to get this place here. He works day and night, 7 days a week, 7 nights a week, every hour. Yeah, so we're very pleased.
Using leverage, which was to become a New Community byword, the group eventually obtained a multi-million-dollar loan from the New Jersey State Housing Finance Agency. New Community was in business. After 10 years at Queen of Angels, Father Linder was transferred to St. Rose of Lima Parish, which joined New Community and Babyland as the 3rd member of the New Community Network.
That sins may be forgiven. Do this in memory of me.
The parish is a great asset to the community development effort, from housing the largest family violence center in the state to providing programs for the Spanish-speaking members of the community. St. Rose of Lima Elementary School, where 90% of the children are non-Catholic, is a model of education in a city whose public schools deteriorated to the point where the state took over the system.
This is a group of third graders. We've been working on their word processing skills, trying to get them familiar with using some of the different commands, tabbing, and so forth. And then also after that, doing a exercise that helps them with their mouse practice so that they're getting to be good point and clickers.
Much of the credit for the feeling of well-being that permeates the new community network is due to the 120-person security force.
We're a security blanket. We're not a law enforcement agency. However, our mere presence deters crime. Our response time, because of the fact we are at the location, is such that we can arrive at the location and have on many occasions before the actual criminal act takes place, or on certain occasions we have detained suspects until the police arrive.
In the 1980s, New Community began a program of economic development to create jobs, including building the first supermarket in the Central Ward since the summer disorders.
Our manager is from the community. The people that work here are all from the community. Many of the people that you see here are part of what we call now the Welfare to Work program in Work First New Jersey. And
today, people from around the nation and the world travel to Newark to learn firsthand how to revitalize a neighborhood.
The sales here are 2.5 times the national average per square foot for supermarket space. It's 2.5 times. So you can see we turn over this shelving here very, very quickly. And that's when you're the most profitable.
I don't think they've been to the sewing center yet. Do you want to give them the history on how that got started and how it integrates into what we're doing?
We have drivers, we have people in the nursing home, the daycare, the security, the central maintenance, all those areas are in uniform. Also, my favorite is that every child that graduates from Babyland graduates in the cap and gown, even for that, and they keep it. And the idea being is we want to kind of reinforce, even at an early age, success. You know, we want to make a big deal of it.
This is a movement. When I said yesterday, this was grow out of the civil rights movement. That's what people said to me yesterday. Why do these people feel so much passion? That's what has changed for the best in this country. This is part of this movement for social change. This is not just business development. Obviously, you see that.
New Community has acquired the 5.5-acre former Borden milk processing plant, which will lead to over 300 jobs for Newark residents.
We're planning some exciting new developments. The first is the development of a large business incubator, what we're calling Enterprise Growth Center, which will be a place to grow businesses. We plan to have 30 to 40 businesses in this site making a variety of different products, which will create over 200 jobs. Also on this site, we're going to have a modular housing factory which will develop over 200 units of housing on an annual basis that are affordable, as well as provide employment opportunities for 100 area residents.
Those jobs are critical in an area where the law of the land is now to end welfare as we know it.
So we have now changed to a system where the theme for recipients is temporary assistance to needy families. What that means is they are considered employable people who must work to earn a living, and the whole thrust of welfare is now, as soon as someone gets on welfare, they have to prepare to get off.
When they became homeless, Sharita Wimberly and her son, Nassan, ended up on welfare.
You just get tired of going from house to house all the time. And, you know, family don't want to come out and tell you that, you know, look, you can't stay here. But you can kind of sense it when you're around them. So I decided to go out on my own, regardless of how I went.
19 years of age, with a 1-year-old baby in tow, Sharita found refuge in a county homeless shelter, which referred her to the pilot Young Mothers program at New Community Harmony House, the largest transitional housing facility for the homeless in New Jersey.
When I first went to Harmony House, I was hard-headed. I didn't like anyone. I didn't talk to anyone. I just stayed to myself and talked to the people that I came to the Harmony House with. I got in a lot of trouble. And then I guess I just changed with Miss Murphy on my back all the time. I changed. And I went to school for nursing assistant. I graduated from there. I finished all the courses at the Harmony House. And now I'm graduating.
What time your niece coming by today?
Talnisha Smith is also in the Young Mothers Program, which includes daycare at Babyland 5, classes, job training and placement, and developing life skills.
I always was interested in nursing, and this is like the first step. In January, I'll be starting Essex County College to go further on.
After graduating from the New Community Center for Employment Training as a nurse's aide, she was hired by the Extended Care Facility. For Talnisha, she's already planning what's next.
So it's just my first step in the medical field to get me off my feet.
What's your ultimate goal?
To be a dentist and take care of my daughter. That's it. See my little girl grow up and make something out of herself.
Every day, the New Community Network touches the lives of over 30,000 people. Residents at New Community's nursing home enjoy a time of stimulation and fun. Community organizers work to rebuild a neighborhood that was once given up for lost.
This is what begins to build community, especially down here where the residents put the playground in last week. About 2 years ago when I came here, this is where there was a crack house, there was a drug house, and the residents got the drug house down, and now we're able to put a playground up. So hopefully this is where, you know, the community is beginning to come back.
Members of the New Community Federal Credit Union now have the opportunity to receive basic financial services in their neighborhoods.
Well, I think more than anything, we've just gotten the word out that the credit union is here to provide members services that they probably won't be able to get at banks. As you may know, banks left the area over the past 10 or 15 years and left the members and the community without the services of a financial institution.
At the Youth Automotive Training Center, low-income, at-risk young people are being trained to become skilled automotive technicians. The former garage has been turned into a state-of-the-art automotive training center, thanks to a partnership between New Community, Hillside Auto Mall, and the Ford Motor Company.
Bell Atlantic worked with us on the building and helped us put it together for a extremely reasonable price.
Most importantly, and what makes us a lot different, we guarantee that every student has a job at the end, and they're trained to get to the middle class level income in 5 to 7 years. We are not training students to get to the minimum wage type of jobs. We're talking careers. I have 3 of the students back here today that work around the schedule of the school to come and work for me. You know, because an employer expects the person that he hires to be of a certain mental state when they come in, and the beauty of our program is that that's what we're going to do. They will know how to be an employee by the time they graduate.
No employer will not hire you if you have the mentality of a juvenile. You know, or you know, young-headed, young-minded. It's not like that. It's hard out here in the real world. It's hard.
Why are you looking so good at that? I need mine down on my time. Well, in 5 years, I hope to be at the top of my game and sooner or later own my own business.
New Community continues to change the physical landscape of Newark. The dedication of 7 Generations Park, neighborhood residents proudly showed up to celebrate a peaceful place of meditation in the inner city.
Well, I think the whole point of New Community really is people taking on responsibility for their lives and the lives of other people. And I think this is kind of a monument to that taking place and caring for people who really can't care for themselves, taking responsibility for that.
And don't you think also that here, for the first time perhaps, some effort has been made to bring some beauty in the lives of people? Not just, well, it's very important they have to eat.
Right.
And they have decent medical care.
Right.
But here, at any rate, they can look and say, remember that there are still flowers and bushes.
Yeah. Right. Yes. And time to reflect. To take time to reflect.
There's now a day of Operation Understanding, a time to challenge the whole New Community Network family.
Our one-stop workforce development center is going to be the finest in our state. And that's the result of the way you and I work, because we work together. We don't work in isolation. We work as a team. I would predict that 5 years from now, Babyland will not have 700 children in daycare, but have 1,400 children in daycare. Pediatrics dental program is now alive and well. It has brought support from Johnson & Johnson corporately, from Prudential, and now Robert Wood Johnson. That's what the beauty of a community development group is. We respond to people's needs. You build it. It's your institution. Be part of it. We need you right now.
Today, New Community and Babyland have come almost full circle in many ways, as New Community has acquired the Hayes Homes site. The abandoned tombs of high-rise public housing will be replaced with 206 low-rise townhouse-style units that will allow a very low-income family to own their own home for the very first time.
This is probably as close as you're going to get to suburbia in the inner city. We have a playground that's part of the amenities here. This has been so popular that we're building a playground for New Community at large. This one is primarily for these residents here. Hayes Homes will be very similar to this.
Well, what's going to be here in place of it is something that I know my late twin sister would love, and that is it's going to be home ownership. It's going to be one-family homes where people can own, low-income families can own homes. And if my sister was alive today, she would have qualified for those homes. And she would have been happy. She never loved living in high-rise apartments. She hated them.
Personal experience, having seen the devastation and, you know, now 30 years to see what has been accomplished. And it's phenomenal when you look at it, what was accomplished in only 30 years. We're talking about, you know, affordable housing that will be built on the Hayes Homes site. And these things that you can identify, you know, you can actually measure progress because you can see it. You can see it take place.
The New Community Foundation was reestablished in 1992 to act as a consulting firm to the network and provide business advice and counsel. A volunteer board of trustees representing leading members of the business, professional, and academic communities create funding resources for New Community, Babyland Family Services, and St. Rose of Lima School.
You know, we can do all kinds of things. We can service your cars and your, in our automotive program and so on. Natural sponsorships or financial support will grow. Maybe it's 4 months from now, maybe it's 6 months from now, maybe it's a year from now.
Projects implemented by the foundation include the Pediatric Dentistry Program, in partnership with Project Hope.
Did you knock it out? How did it come out? It's a little early.
I hit my tooth on the bed.
You hit your tooth on the bed and it came out? We do find children with cavities and children with that have not been attended to. So it's really important to get them at this age. Oh my goodness, hi. You want me to blow up the glove? This is how you do it. Look at this. Look. Can you do that? You don't want to do that? Let me see. Now let me look with it. Let me see if I can see your teeth.
Mrs. Smith, the executive director of Babyland, said it so well. She said,
Low-grade pain affects concentration, and so it impacts the ability to absorb whatever is being taught to them. And then in this age of welfare reform, you want to give the children a fighting chance, in the sense that you want them to not to be shy to approach Wall Street for a job. If they're concerned about self-esteem relating to their dental health, of course they would selectively choose where to look for employment. So we are trying to build individuals who have the ability to fight equally for a position in this world.
Yeah. Bite down again, bite down for me. Put them together. That's good. Perfect. You're perfect.
The thing that really distinguishes this organization from any other is that whether we're talking to you or Mary or Art or Florence or whoever, if somebody's in trouble, some individual, some family, some child, you stop what you're doing and you take care of that person.
I want everybody to line up, am I correct? When you line up, at attention, and be gorgeous just like every last one of you are, okay?
Beginning of the rest of our lives.
Yeah, you on TV, that's why you say sad. No, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry, I'm not gonna cry.
Welcome to our graduation from the New Community Harmony House Young Mothers Program.
In every building throughout the New Community Network, there's a small plaque that reminds everyone of their mission. It reads simply, to help the residents of inner cities improve the quality of their lives, to reflect individual God-given dignity and personal achievement. That statement sounds like a perfect direction for the next 30 years.
These children need nurturing. They need all kinds of, they need love, don't they? They are so precious.